I had I kind of ruined my
Okay.
copy of Education of a Gardener. I had highlights all over, and I found the pages with the highlights and put sticky notes on them. And then I went through the sticky notes, so now I have all my notes up there. So if somebody wants to
Oh
talk
my
about something,
goodness.
I got them there. There was just so much in there. Hi, Margie. Hey, Jocelyn. Jocelyn, I'm sorry. See, you're one of the people that I have to put on my list. I made a list of
Yeah.
who was there last time, or who emailed me to say they were coming, and I started a list of who's going to be there, so that in a case like yesterday, when I
Kitty,
realized how
kitty,
badly I
kitty,
screwed up the
kitty,
calendar.
kitty,
I love the
Yeah.
kitty.
kitty, 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 kitty.
You know, they know where you're looking, don't they?
Yes.
They know exactly where you're looking, and they get right in line with
Sure.
whoever that is. Greetings.
Okay.
Irina, that's your glasses are gorgeous and I love them. They're big. I'm always looking. It's hard to find big glasses. They kind of go in and out of style. And I said, I
Yeah.
like to have a big enough glass that when I stick my face in a shrub, I have some chance it's going to go in either direction.
All right. I don't know if I'm in here or not.
You are here, Margie. I can hear you.
No, I'm Deb.
Deb, wait. Oh, I don't see where you are, Deb. Let's see.
I don't see where I am either. I see Martha and Monica and you.
I gotta make my,
We see your name, but not your face.
That's good.
should be that if I make my screen bigger, I should be able to fit more people on there. Last time I couldn't fit anybody on. What's the deal? Why is it all so? There we go. Come on, we can do one more, can't we? One more poll.
Now I have Monica's.
Oh, do you have a camera, Deb?
No, I don't think I have the camera on. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's why. That's not why you're not here. So you're going to show up as a little black box that said Deb Hall is talking every time you talk, but you won't
Okay,
have
cool.
us.
That's good.
People who do have cameras and don't want to have their picture shown, they can just turn their camera off and put their name up instead, and it'll be there. I love your background. Are you a quilter too, Irina?
Yep.
Wow. Well, you got to talk to Martha over there, because Martha's actually been quilting around the world, basically. Was that last year you went on the cruise with the quilters and they quilted
I've been
New Zealand
around,
and
yeah.
Australia and back again?
Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I'll just do it to survive the winter.
How did who survive the winter?
I do it to survive the winter.
Yeah, you got to have things to do,
That.
things that keep you busy. The granddaughter and the ceramics are keeping me busy. So did anybody read the book? I read it. I almost gave up on it, but I read it.
Yeah, I read some of it.
Okay.
I got about halfway through.
I
Um,
had a very hard time because there are so many plant names and I just got tired of looking up
Looking them up. Yeah.
every plant he mentioned.
And some of them were the old names. He was calling smokebush, which is now Cotinus cogigria. He was calling it Rus.
Oh,
And let's see, there were a couple others that kept coming up in there that I wanted. That's the old name for it, but that's
Yeah.
what happens with plant names.
yeah.
But I got into the second or third chapter, which was on style and theme, and I just wanted to throttle him. I said, just you've told me the same thing over and over and over again. You haven't shown
Yeah.
me drawings to help me understand this. You haven't even defined theme or style. And I was going to give it up. And I said, no, go on to the next chapters. And I had such fun in the next chapters. I kind of tried to get past some of the plants, just making up a tour. Some of these places that he lists that he worked or he knew to go. I said, I want to go and see some of these places. I could
Yeah.
just make a tour just from what he's got written down here. Um, and also there were all the little tidbits about like pruning and stuff. So maintenance.
Well, and Janet, to your comment about that he was kind of driving you crazy because he kept repeating it
Yeah.
over and over again. So I think that these things, style and theme, come easy for you, but they do not come easy for me. So to hear it different ways and different settings and different, the gardens and whatever, it really did help me because I would hear it and then, you read and you keep reading, and then I would hear it again and I go, oh, wait, I get it now, so it really did kind of help me to hear it over and over again a couple of times.
I'm glad that it did, and it occurred to me that it would work that way. But I wanted a definition of theme. I never got straight what his definition of
Right.
theme was. One of the quotes had something to do with if you don't see. Oh well. Now I'm not going to be able to find these different kinds of things in here. I got them all sorted out by maintenance and planned info, and I probably have to look too long, and I turned my back on you for too long. But at one point, he said he wrote that don't if you don't stick by your theme, then the plants that are already there can basically start taking control, and you won't be able to keep them in their visual place. I mean, he didn't say visual place, but in their place. And I went, okay, all right. But if I had some idea what theme you're talking about here, I'd probably be better off. But anyway, the idea of this guy running around Europe, and you've probably been there. I know I was shocked when I went there that you could drive through 5 countries in a day, but the fact that he was working in Italy and France and in Switzerland, running back and forth, and toward the end where he was talking about sometimes he'd be 4 nights in a row on the sleeper train going between one place and another. It was just so cool to think of somebody that involved in stuff being able to get all these things done and admit that once in a while there was one he said unfinished projects and unsatisfactory projects always felt like a failure to me. Now I look back at them and think of them as they were a good exercise. They taught me something to do this. And that made me feel better because there are places where I've been where I just couldn't. He wrote about one where the people had a bunch of animals. They had 5 or 6 big dogs that I was allergic to as all get out that trampled in the garden, and they had 2 deer that they let eat everything, and they had a monkey that they tied up to the ewes that I put in there and destroyed the ewes. I mean, there are places where you just want to admit that there shouldn't be a garden here, probably. Or the one place where he said that he was going to work in it was a lot of these were big properties, a big property, and they'd had the same gardener for 50 years. And that gardener had planted just about everything out there, and he was one by one taking them out.
Oh,
I wanted to see the final that said whether or not that gardener ended up on his side or not. But it is tough to do things when people say, was it the Duke of Windsor said, I kind of like that tree. I'd like some of those. And it was one of the ones that he'd written that he hated so much, the variegated
yeah.
box elder.
Acer Negundo.
Negundo, yeah, right.
Yeah, Negundo. Yeah.
Yeah. There was another tree or shrub that he's always using the other name for, Deb. Did you have?
Lime. He kept saying lime trees.
Oh yeah, the tilias were all the different kinds of limes.
Yeah, lime. I'm like lime.
And it's funny he had it in for the sycamore, but the plane tree was fine with him. He was planting seeds all over the place.
Yeah.
Lime tree is a linden, isn't it?
A linden.
Yeah, it's a
Tilia.
linden. And they plant silver linden and the Crimean linden, and there's a whole bunch of lindens. For the most part, here we plant the American basswood, the big leaf linden, and the little leaf European linden, but we don't plant all those other kinds that they have.
No. And we don't have variegated Acer Negundos either.
Sure we do.
We
Sure we
do?
do. They mostly revert. You'll drive down the street and you'll see a chunk of a maple variegated. You go, wow, that's a cool tree, but it's just one chunk. The rest of it's reverted. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I got a kick out of his whole bit with maintenance that everything costs too much now. He was there in World War One, post World War One, and as he's moving through, he says we can't do that anymore. It's labor is too expensive now to do these kinds of things, and yet he's putting in boxwood that he keeps cut to ground level. Or in one place he had a parterre that he said, where it's squares, and it was a chessboard. He said it was a grand chessboard, and the alternating squares were lawn and annual flowers. And he made the squares with the annual flowers 9 inches deeper
Oh,
than the lawn. Can you
Can
imagine
you
taking care of
imagine?
that? I mean, how are you going to mow the lawn where in between you've got,
Huh?
I can get it, but it was too bad. What do you want me to do again?
Just
Yeah.
give him like food or something, but I don't know what he wants.
oh, it's a skunk. My neighbor actually reached out her door and
My
almost brought a skunk
behavior
in.
is worse than a skunk.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. It's a horrible kid.
You know, some of them are. We had one horrible cat. Most of our cats were okay, but we had one horrible one that really, you should never have brought that cat into the house.
We have that pasta. Do you want to eat?
No, I can get by with that. I just wanted to get some protein and take my
One
pill.
sec.
Yeah. No problem. Absolutely no problem. Well, should we, those of us who are here, should we do a drum roll and pick another book? One that's more fun?
Well, that's more fun.
Well, I mean, really, I love the books that are stories, and we have some good ones on the list.
Yeah. May I recommend one that is not on the list?
Sure, yeah. Tell me what it is. I'll put it on for next time.
The Serviceberry by Robin Wall Kimmerer.
You know,
For me,
I have that one by,
personally,
I have
it
that
is
one.
short. This is the large print edition, and it is very short. I like short. I'm still working full time, and I have some trouble with vision. So by the time I request something from the library, I'm not always like this book. I had to request it through Interlibrary Loan, which is now called Melcat. And I just got it the other day, but it was super long and the words were too small. So I'm like, yeah, that's not for me. So I would humbly like to request a short, easy book.
Okay, I will put that one on the list. Did you read Braiding Sweetgrass?
Too long.
Okay, because Braiding Sweetgrass, I loved Braiding Sweetgrass, but the Serviceberry felt a little bit to me like her publisher had said, let's get another one out. And it didn't seem to be as considered. And
I
as,
haven't read it yet. I just like that it's short.
Yeah.
Monica, if I could make a suggestion is to listen to the books.
I didn't like the narrator for Braiding Sweetgrass. Like I don't love it.
Okay, that was her. So
I know. I didn't
yeah,
love it.
okay. I did, but yeah, so to each his own, of course. But yeah, I just want to throw that into especially with the vision things, to listen to the books. I listen a lot. So
and it is
There's
really,
also a young person's version of braiding sweetgrass, so you might try that.
there is really?
There is.
Oh, that's cool. I know.
I signed up for it, but the waiting list is kind of long
The list is,
for the braiding.
yeah,
For
yeah.
for the book, like on whatever it is,
Yeah.
on Libya, I think.
Yeah, but we can also, with some books, we can say, let's just read these 3 chapters too. So we'll kind of work that out. We'll talk to whoever it is who suggested that it be up there. I know we have a bit, Steve listens to a lot of books on, a lot of audiobooks, and he'll listen to some narrators that I cannot stand. I said, how can you listen to that? I will pick a book sometimes to read audiobook just because of the narrator. If George Guidall reads it, I'll listen to it. I'll listen to George say anything, Okay, so I have all of these books. The red in here, I gave our list, which is 5 pages long here, 38 books. I gave the list to the reference librarian at the Waterford Library and said, Mary, can you figure out which of these things are actually available? So we might, if the book comes up, we might say if it's not really available, maybe we throw that one out. And to pick a book, I said we'd roll the dice, but with 38 books, I went, I can't do that. I need to reach in and grab a piece of paper, and I realized I had all these ducks left over from something we did with the kids. And there were like 31 ducks. I said, that's perfect. I'm just putting the ducks and a few ping pong balls with a number on them. And I will try to be, I don't remember which books are where. I will look and see whether it works for us. 22.
Two.
22. Oh, no copies in the system. Going to be a little hard to find except by buying.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
But Whole Ground
Ooh.
is it's essays, it's short pieces, and he's just great. Do we want to try to do that? Somebody want to look and see if it's if it comes up as, because Mary wouldn't have looked for us at used bookstores or whatever. If you go to ABE Books, that's one of my there's another one besides ABE Books. And I've forgotten the name of it right now, but when we were up north in the Upper
Mhm.
Peninsula, she said, buy your books from them because it's a consortium. Everybody puts all these used bookstores contribute to the inventory and take it from there. ABE Books, search by name. ABE Books, official site.
Find Amazon.
I'll stop that one and start this other
Yeah.
one. So I'm on, let's see, where's ABE Books?
No, Amazon.
Club.
Is Home Ground by Barry Lopez?
Nope, it's Alan Lacey.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Oops, I guess I gotta hit the
Yeah, even through Melcat, it looks like Michigan State University is the only one that owns a copy in the whole state. I'd say maybe we could pick something that is a little more available.
Unless it happens to be in here.
Yeah, just for me personally, I don't like buying books.
Yeah, if I can buy them for $3, here's $5.
Yeah, and again, I might be an outlier, but I just don't have a lot of space, so I don't like to have the physical book when I'm done. It is the cost, but it's also the square footage it takes up.
So what do the rest of you guys think? Should we pick another number? Look at something else?
Yeah,
I hear one, yeah, that makes two, but there's about 6 of us here.
sure.
Just
Sure.
Janet, can you go back to the list?
Yeah.
What was that Finding the Mother Tree? Did you read it? Did anybody
I
read it?
have read it. I wouldn't mind at all reading it again. It's a wonderful book. Share list. Okay. So I just pulled up number 30, The Bees. If you want a cool book, I know that one. It's been a long time since I've read that one, but I enjoyed it mightily. The Bees is it's a fiction, but it is based on the real organization and activities of a beehive, and you follow one bee through this whole system, which it's pretty cool. Even to the point where it's kind of like in a much more subdued fashion. Robin Wall Kimmerer told us about understanding that things in the world have names. To call a bay it is not acceptable to the native people. That the bay has a name, it has a place, it has an identity. Well, it was a concept that I thought, wow, that's a cool concept. Well, there are some concepts in the bees. One of them is the flowers love the bees. I guess they would. I mean, they do everything they can to bring bees into them for one reason or another. So the bees is there. Let's see if bees.
So, and if I may say that the Bees is available like through Hoopla.
Yeah,
audio and ebook.
Yeah.
That's easy.
Mary says that there's none in Waterford, but a lot in the system. Many copies in the system.
I was able to check it out from my library. I have it.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Have you read
the
it
Bees.
already?
No, but it was on your list, and so I went to see how many I could possibly check out, and that was one. And What a Plant Knows, I think that's on the list.
Yeah.
It took me a while to get the one, A Morbid Taste for Bones. What was that?
Yeah, that's one of the Brother Cadfael stories, and yeah, Mary said that those are it's hard to find the whole bunch. She found.
Yeah, that was a tricky one, but the Bees is easy. I have it in front of me. Let's do that.
Is the Bees sound okay with you?
Yeah, sounds interesting.
I'm okay with the Bees.
It's a quick read, and it looks here that at ABE Books they've got 11 used books for $4.50 each. So
Yeah.
And because there's
Or-
a bunch in the system, you can get it from the library too. Yeah, I think you'll really like it, and I'll enjoy reading it again. I sent my copy away to Sonia, our daughter's beekeeper friends. I said, would you take a look at this and tell me how close they come to what actually happens in a beehive? And two of them looked at it for me and said that one of the things they got wrong, but probably deliberately, is that they had the bee change positions in the hive. It was working in the nursery, and then it was a worker outside. And they said that doesn't happen. They are born and stay and where they stay, but the author, in order to follow one bee and keep it consistent, had to have this bee move around for various reasons. And but they said that's not accurate, but much of the rest of it is really right on. Okay, so we'll tell people that they should look at The Bees by Laline Paul.
William Paul.
Laline Paul. Paul with two L's.
Yeah, it's $10.69 on Amazon.
Oh, say go to ABE Books instead. I mean, these are the
Okay.
independent book people. So
Mhm.
they got 11 of them in their inventory for
Okay.
$4.50. And they God, I can't remember the name of the other one. Oh, I know how I can find out though. There's a bookshop called Grandpa's Barn up in Copper Harbor. And she is a part of this other Grandpa's Barn, Copper Harbor. There we go. Tell me which book society you're part of. She said they do the same thing. So ABE Books, those 11 books might be in 4 or 5 different places, but they all cooperate with one inventory and send them out. Well, I might have to find. I'll put it into the notes how to find it because I don't see it in here right now. How to do that? Okay. So what else has anybody got to say? Anybody got anything fun to talk about? I understand it's going to be above freezing tomorrow,
Yes.
and then it's going to be cold again. But at least it's not going to rain while it's above freezing. I wish I could do some pruning, but it looks like it's going to go down too cold overnight after it's been above freezing. And we won't let Martha talk because she'll tell us that it's 45 and 50 degrees down there.
I don't want to confuse you or add The Forgotten Garden by Kate Morton was also available at the library. So that's another one that you had on your list that was easy to get to.
Her writing is excellent, but those books are usually big books. I've read quite a few of her books, and she's a very, very good writer. But usually they're big books.
I love
I do
historical.
know this one. I mean, I read this one. I just don't remember. Usually they're big long books.
I like historical fiction when it's done well.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like it better than learning in school.
Yeah, that's true.
Historical fiction is my favorite.
Yeah. Let's see.
What you guys, what does that mean, historical fiction?
It means that they base the book someplace in history, and it is a fictitious. It's a fiction. It's a work of fiction, but they base it on what was going on then. So they place someone in history, and it could actually have happened that way.
Oh,
There's
cool.
one-
Thank you.
Character would be a fictional character.
Yeah.
Fiction based on fact is what I call it.
Yeah.
It's
you.
historical fiction in comparison to if it were fantasy, that would be not realistic fiction, and it could be historical and fantasy, or contemporary and fantasy, or science fiction and contemporary or historical. So historical fiction just means set sometime in the past.
And I read one called Last Refuge of Scoundrels. It's about the founding fathers of the United States. And it's written from the point of view of a woman who joined the army as a man and became one of Washington's spies. And she's an actual character, but they used her throughout the war in probably places where she wasn't in order to carry the character through. Yeah, and that to me it was fascinating. I got to meet the founding fathers as George Washington, who was so pleased he could fit into his suit, his uniform, and the soldier herself, I've forgotten her name. She was eventually her family got her to be recognized because when she was buried and when they knew that she was a woman, they didn't give her her pension. Or when she retired, they didn't get, but they gave it to her retroactively. They awarded her that stuff, which I think is pretty cool. Too bad that it took so long, but looking to see how many pages it is. There's got to be something. It seems like there's something. Oh, there we go. Print length. Yeah. The Forgotten Garden is 560 pages. So that's kind of a lot for a month for a group that doesn't want to read the longer books. And I shorter books.
Well, that may just be me.
Well, I sometimes get bogged down in those books because I don't have the time. I have trouble reading because my hands move. So I have to read down like this, and I can only sit in that position for a while. So unless I can find them on audiobooks, sometimes the longer books sit there. I had a client who retired from being an engineer at Edison into being the philosopher he always wanted to be and collected books. And he was always reading 3 books at once, always. And he said that was the better way to go. He would read a chapter from one, then a chapter from another, then a chapter from another, and that kept his brain fluid. I tried it and I couldn't do it. I could not. When I'm in a book and really into it, I can't handle getting around there. So we should mark some on here. I can mark some on here for you that I think are shorter and are. So the Cadfael novels are historical fiction, and that was one of the things I liked about them was understanding how they were using these plants back then and how society was organized and what happened when knights decided to go on. What do they call them when knights went out? Expedition. On quests, and what would happen to the people around them. Let's see, Cuttings from a Rock Garden is
And that was a fun series on PBS many years ago. My mother-in-law really liked that.
Yeah, the guy that played Brother Cadfael in those was the same guy who played the emperor. Which emperor was it? It was one right before Caligula. He had stutter. He did such a great job in that one too. God, I can't remember the name of that one. So many years ago.
What's the name of the used book?
ABE Books, all one word. And
Vision.
I used to know what it stood for.
She said.
Yes, my mother-in-law watched that too.
The Brother Cadfael.
Is it Richard Janis or somebody Janis?
That sounds right to me. Yes.
Yeah, you can thank Rhiannon. And those books are written by a woman.
Yes, they are. Ellis Peters.
Yep.
I'm sorry she's gone because I really liked what she wrote. Okay, not much more on this page. Finding the Mother Tree is not short. I think it's 280 pages. But and it got a little, for me, it got a little bit old in that I don't think Suzanne ever got over how terrible the men were and still are, but really were terrible back in the 70s. She's grown up, she's an arborist, she's a professor, and nobody will listen to her because, those women, they all think this soft stuff. And there was a point where I picked up the book and I looked at it and I said, get over it, Suzanne, and get back into the story here.
Okay.
Around the World in 80 Trees is one that's fun to read. Just
yeah, I got that from my library and it looks fun.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot of fun. A lot of
Because
interest.
it's like each tree is just a short section, and that appeals to me.
Yeah, it's like 1 or 2
Okay.
pages on each tree, and there's some of them are trees you've never heard of, and there are some from Asia and from Australia and from Africa, and there are little bits of lore about the tree and stories of bringing them across from one place to another. How about in this book we just read, in Education of a Gardener? Did you notice that point where he's talking about the horse chestnuts at one place where he was working had originally been brought 100 miles by ox cart?
Yes.
Yeah, there it is. Yep.
And the tree
And it
shop.
has pictures. That is a bonus in my book.
We'll
Ooh.
aim at those as we go along.
Speaking about the trees, somebody once asked me this question and I loved it. And it is, if you could be any kind of tree, what would it be and why? And the
Oh, and why.
why
Okay.
really makes you think about what kind of tree you would be. So yeah, it's just it's a great, like, I don't know, party question or whatever, you know.
What kind of tree would you be, Therese?
So sugar maple, or no, actually, I'm sorry, a willow.
A willow.
And a willow. And
a weeping willow or
yes, a weeping willow.
okay.
Yeah. And because it's got medicine, right? And I like the whole blowing of the hair. You know, my hair's long, so I like that. They love water. I love water. But the whole like aspirin medicine thing, you know, it kind of like it's got medicine inside of it. So yeah, that's why. How about you?
I've thought about perennials, which perennial I would be. I haven't thought too much about what trees I'd be, but I really do like the fir, like the little fir that we let grow in the front yard and the two big ones we have, the concolor fir. I just I like the evergreen quality of it. I like the density. I like the bark. I like that the bark is light colored and smooth all the way down. But they're just such steady Eddie trees. They don't tend to overgrow. They don't get all scraggly like spruces do. I was so upset when they took one down in our old neighborhood. It was right at the corner of Phyllis's house, and first thing the people did who moved in is they cut that tree down because it's going to get too big. I went, it's already 50 years old and that's as big as it's going to get, and now you've cut it down. And besides, I used to come every Christmas and take a branch off of it to use for stuff.
Yeah.
I have to think more about the trees because of the perennials. I always thought that Columbine was kind of my thing. I like that coming up, big show, and then go away. Okay, I'm done. Somebody else can take over for a while. I kind of like that. In Russell Page's book, he obviously likes willows. He used them in various places, but I had to keep going back to his bit about for lower maintenance. You know, you can't afford to have people working for you anymore. So I did this for low maintenance, and he's planting willows on arbors on people's roofs. Oh man.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know. The Garden of Evening Mist sounds really good to me too, but we'll wait until next time and we'll figure out what we can do from there. So I'm going to pull this down. Yeah, I thought I'm going to keep these notes because there's good quotes in here. To design and plant a garden in difficult or bad condition of soil or climate or both is to gain precious experience. So you can tell yourself that. Yeah, so he talked about labor was so expensive, the heavy cost of endless trimming.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
plant trees and then cut them all off.
right, and then he's got all these
Yeah.
edges and the box would cut straight to the ground as a carpet. I thought, my God, somebody's doing this stuff, and they're doing it with hand pruners for the most part.
Yeah.
That's got to be a lot of work. Did you notice that he did some gardening work, maybe not for, but with Lawrence of Arabia?
No.
T.E. Lawrence, who he was with, is Lawrence of Arabia. He said that he was his comments on the garden were exact and helpful. I understand he was quite the scholar, T.E. Lawrence.
I liked that he talked about fashion versus style.
Yeah.
And that fashion dates a garden where style is timeless.
That's good. That's good. Did he actually say it that way? I missed that. I would have pulled that out as a quote because that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I liked his
sorry, between 51 and 58 pages. It's somewhere in there.
Okay, if you borrow a landscape where there's a distant view, carelessly used color will destroy the whole meaning of the garden. You know, that you're playing off of Teresa's big willow across the lake, and you put a blot of Oh, and he hates begonias. Boy, this tuberous, I mean, the wax begonias. You just can't say that enough bad things about it. But if those are in the foreground, that's going to ruin the whole thing.
Well, and something I disagreed with him on was he talked about that the garden should be seen from the house primarily, and to be outside is secondary.
Yeah.
And in my garden, I really only have a small window facing my garden, so to be out in it is more primary for me and secondary from inside the house.
Yeah.
So, I disagreed there.
And I think when you're looking at city or town gardens versus the big estates that he was working on a lot of the time, that does make a difference. I mean, you don't tend to go out strolling quite as much in those big places. You stand in the windows and look out in windows that are designed just for it. I really got into his chapter where he was talking about the different stone that he used. I didn't know that sandstone got harder with exposure. That if you leave sandstone out, we build rock walls, because generally the sandstone is going to be the thin layer, so you can do all those layers. And it is quite soft and it breaks. But if you leave it out in the air, it becomes harder. And I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
He had a whole bunch of notes about maintenance and about pruning that I like. I like to hear other people say, just cut them down. Pruning Weigelia, mock orange, deutzia, take out as much old wood as possible each July. And quince, cut it back to 3 to 4 inches to make flowering spurs and be particularly ruthless. Oh, and his bit about which wall colors made a difference on the like fences. Whitewash them or make them pale blue. They hold the light. Make them dark blue or ochre, and they absorb it and give depth and mystery. And I thought, that's kind of a cool thing to think about. Yeah, his gray poly, cut it to within 6 inches of the ground every 2 or 3 years. Hydrangeas, he probably had 4 places in there where he said, yeah, I'd like to use more hydrangeas, but the buds get killed over the winter. I went, yes. There you go. And how about his making the pool? Sorry, I got once I start looking at this, making building pools for people, and somebody wanted. He said seawater is harder to do. I thought, who wants a saltwater pool? Some people like saltwater, and that they would truck the saltwater in and have to get a special permit to fill the trucks up. So they started using fresh water and just dumping in tons of dump in several tons of sea salt, and then when it has to be emptied, drain it into the tanker trucks and take it back to the sea. I mean, what a process. These are not your neighbor's gardens.
No,
No, not at all.
he's not our neighbor.
I might want to get somebody to, if my mom was still around, I'd ask her to needlepoint it. Sometimes my garden seems to like a mirage, always receding. Because we all have these things that we want to have happen out there, right? And another year and another year and another year to get them to happen. Anyway, I like having these notes. I've never done this before where I just pulled all the notes out. I always just left them in the books with highlighter on them, and they're a lot harder to find that way. A young 40-foot specimen that I planted. 40 feet. Sorry, we don't plant 40-foot tall things here. Okay, so if you guys aren't going to talk about books, I can shut up.
I'm checking all my notes for something cool to say, but I'm
He one of the gardens that he described at Hidcote, he described it as you go through a hedge and there's a pool, a large circular pool with the narrowest of paths around it. Dave Mitchner showed us a picture of that particular garden in Hidcote and struck both of them as interesting to come in and find just that little path around. It was walled on 4 sides. So I know that garden. He get the gardeners in each garden to propagate everything of interest so he could share it out. I thought that was Wolfgang Oma and Jim Van Sweden's big deal when they planted the New American Garden. That's what they would do is they planted the garden and then they got contract to do the maintenance on it. And so every year they would take divisions off of the plants and use them for the next garden that they were doing. And that's what he got the gardens to do, exchange plants. You
I
know?
gotta believe Gardner's been doing that forever.
Yeah. Yeah. How about a sick cat out in search of couch grass? I happen to know that couch grass is quack grass. I've talked to, and I'll tell you that our dogs will head straight for quack grass or for something that looks like quack grass before they'll eat any other kind of grass. I ended up sending some to my sister in Oregon. Please don't tell me that I sent an invasive plant that doesn't exist in Oregon, Indian Oregon. But I said, here, plant this for Peaches, because she said she keeps going by this same clump and she chews that grass, but nothing else. So I had Diane take a picture for me. I said, well, that's quack grass, that's couch grass. And he mentioned
What kind of grass, Janet?
Quack grass, which the English call couch grass, spelled like couch.
Hmm.
It's got the thick running root that it's white, has a sharp tip on it, and it'll go out maybe 6 or 8 inches and then turn up. It can go right through. It can pierce things, that sharp root. It's not woody at all. It's white. Only in the sun. Only in the sun. I came to know all the garden contractors and nurserymen in the Geneva area well. I couldn't do that. It's too much stuff. He mentions that the hornbeam hedges are a specialty of the Geneva region. You can buy them 3 to 12 feet high, and they grow well right after they've been in the first year. Other places they're slow and difficult. It makes me wonder, what were they doing differently in the nurseries that they could transplant 12-foot tall hornbeams and have them just take off the next year, where other people couldn't do that? Makes me want to go look and see. Yeah. So I'm going to do this for each of the books. That's my promise to myself. I have the name of the book. I have all the notes. I can change my topics if I want to. And when I get done, I've got some nice quotes to put into our quotes section. And some nice backup that says, see, I'm not the only one who says you can cut that plant right down. Except he says nothing destroys the harmony of a garden more than the dark blotch of a copper beech. That's a purple leaf beech. I love purple leaf beeches. I love purple leaf plants. And
Yeah,
he's really,
purple.
yeah, he's really got it in for him. There's one place, the one with the 50-year gardener, he ended up putting a bunch of purple leafed Japanese maples in, and they worked there because they were fading into the shadow of the woods or something like that. But yeah, I like them as centerpieces. He also said that most of the perennials, very few of the perennials have any architectural qualities. And I admit that's true. A lot of them are just floppy things. But there's a lot of good perennials that you can use to stand up and be looked at. And I try to use those as much as I can, because if they've got a good strong habit, either upright or mounded or flat, and you put them next to something very different, there's good architecture there. But if you're working on estates all the time, where you're spending your time looking for the particular type of Italian marble to finish the patio to match the first part that was done 100 years before, I guess you don't quite get into as much of the perennial detail.
The ABE.
Yeah. So you're still back on ABE books, Deb?
Yeah,
Deb got her knee replaced, the whole knee replaced over the winter.
yeah.
Is just coming off of a walker after 3 months. That would just absolutely wipe me out.
Definitely.
I would not be a good patient at all.
No, I wasn't.
But it sounds like a good participant for a book club.
Yes.
Yeah. He's probably going to actually read the books, probably.
Yeah, yes. Because it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I read garden books, I always look at the pictures or read the books. And I always think my garden is like nothing like this. And they always talk about structure and the importance of the structure. Or maybe it's just the books that I get that they always have this importance of the bones and stuff. In my gardens is just a whole bunch of plants,
Yeah.
and I like it.
Well, it is, but you've sent me pictures of your garden, and it does have the bones of you've got your sitting area, and you've surrounded the sitting area with windows. Your arbor that you put next to it is making a window to look out here, and that takes you to look at the space that goes down the side of your yard. So you've got bones. They might not be. I think it's very dismissive of anything that wasn't rectangles and circles all fit into each other. It was very much more formal kind of look. But
Yeah,
later
usually
on, he
it's
did.
like hedges and garden rooms and all that.
Right, and that's more
Dividing
toward,
the yard, but when your yard is like a whole place is like 0.4 acre, and
Yeah.
half of it is in the front and half of it is in the back. Like how many garden rooms you can fit into something like this?
if you make them small, and he did mention
Yeah.
this about some of, if you make them small,
And the
you could-
question is whether do I actually want it or not? And by many standards, like if you don't do it, then it's just not the garden.
oh, yeah, there are some
know,
hard, there are,
like, you
there are
know,
some,
like,
yeah, there are some people that are very
Rosemary
hard nosed.
very much is like this, and the Penelope Hop House, and like, you read and it's all about structure and
Yeah, they're pretty hard nosed about that, but I think if you take what you do in the yard, I need a place for tools and compost, and you set that place, and you set something to look at that is not objectionable that's in that area. You've already got a room there because you've got a working room in one place. And then it just fans out from there that you say, okay, I'm going to get to that working room this way. And the other corner of the yard I'm going to make into a small sitting area. I'll put what do they call those? Ice cream tables with the two chairs next to it out there, and put a backing for that, and that becomes another room. So I mean, you can do that, but they can be pretty hard nosed, snobby nosed about doing
Yeah.
something.
That's the word.
Yeah. I should say I'm always pleased to see, and when I'm reading books from other people, that there are some things that we agree on. Like I tell people, build it from a focal point. Look out, put something out there, whether it's a whole bed or whether it's an item, and then build around it. And then say, okay, how am I going to get to it? How am I going to get back? Whereas some people say, no, you got to have it all laid out. You got to have it figured out all ahead of time. I don't think most people can do that. And you also run into the problem, if you try to do it all at once, of not being able to give up the stuff that's there. That becomes a gradual thing, that I can take this out of here. Martha got rid of a whole lot of stuff in her yard. We started cutting some things back, and before you knew it, she felt, I think, liberated or something, and said, I'm going to get these guys over here, and we'll go ahead and take that one out, and take that one out, and cut that one down, and take that one out, and take that one out. Yeah.
Question for next month's book club. Are we going to meet at 7 or 8 on
At
the 9th?
7. At 7.
Okay.
8 starts getting too late for me, and I'm really sorry about this one. I just didn't even connect the disconnect, the hitting the wrong part on the calendar when I put what I had for 7 o'clock today. I just didn't even connect it when we were setting this one up, but it's all cleared for all the rest of them. So
That's okay. You're not in trouble.
oh, thank you very much.
I only got a chance to read the preface of the book, The Education of a Gardener. That's why I'm lurking in the background.
You are okay to lurk, and I kind of liked the preface and the introduction by like Alan Titmarch. It was nice to know about this guy. He in reading that part, I thought, I feel kind of like this guy is like us, and he was really. He didn't have formal education in gardening. He went and learned to paint, and he just put himself into the right places to go and garden for other people until he ended up with a reputation. And it sounds like he was with the political war department,
It is one.
I think is what they called it, but you can't find any description. I think he was a spy in World War II, and he was in a lot of different places.
Spy, cool.
Yeah.
Well, and I didn't finish the book either, but I'm hoping to at some point just finish it,
So it's
but
March-
because I have enjoyed it.
yeah, yeah.
Well, he was in one place and now he went behind the quilt. Right there on top of the quilt. We have
The
house
cats behind the
full of-
quilt?
We have house full of stink bugs.
Oh
And
yeah,
they-
this time of
They
year. Yeah.
hatch because I have here like the whole area where I have my succulents and I bring them home for the winter. So, and all kinds of other plants that I bring home for the winter. And I think they hatch there. And then in the middle of life, they start flying. And I'm just totally
Yeah.
petrified.
They don't they overwinter as adults, so they're there the whole time. They just hide.
Oh,
They
they
just
do? Because
Yeah, they
I
just-
always think that they hatch.
yeah, they're attracted to the plants because that's kind of a place to hang out. But yeah, we'll look up and I'll go, there's another stink bug. Somebody's got to get that stink bug. Because they just appear from various places. Yeah.
But this one, he was just flying around and I hate it. Because, like a couple of times they actually landed on me. It's just horrible.
I haven't smelled one. The kids did. They said, yeah, they do smell bad if you squash them. I just
Well,
grab them and throw them
You
out.
know what? It's interesting because Sean says he cannot smell them either. This is the most horrendous smell that exists, I think. No skunk can compare to that.
That's something.
And Sean says he cannot smell them. I don't know.
I'll be darned.
I
I,
give
uh,
a
you know-
drink of water.
Well, anyway, he took it out. Yeah, that's the quilt. This is my. I have 4 different quilts and they're all about cats.
Yeah. Well, they are. Yes, I see that.
You know,
I guess I thought it was a fox on the one, but no, those are cats for sure. Martha, your cats are. Did you shut your cats out of your office or wherever you are?
I turned the lights off. They're sleeping.
Oh, clever, clever. Got to be a way to get those guys to pay attention.
I fooled them.
Okay, I'll write up some notes, and March 9th, 7:00, we'll come back and we'll hear what you guys have to say about the bees. I'll let everybody know.
you
I
guys
love
think it's gonna melt tomorrow? I still didn't plant my poppies.
Well, you
I
can
hope that the something, because you cannot plant poppy seeds on top of the snow, right?
yeah,
'Cause
you
the
can.
birds
You can
will-
just put them out. Yeah,
But the birds will eat them.
they might, but they're not going to eat them all. I mean, they might get some when they first go out there, but especially if you kind of roughed up the snow so that it wasn't a platform for them to hop around on, they're not going to get very many of them. Do you? I mean, usually you get a zillion poppy seeds, right, Deb? Deb's got buckets of poppies.
I have my friend gave me about 6 or 7 different bags, and they're like 500 seeds in
Yeah, see,
each
you
of
got
them.
plenty. The birds are not going to eat all of those.
But I'm not gonna do that, otherwise it's just gonna be like totally crazy. But
Yeah, crazy is not what we want to do.
and I still
Okay.
want to do my winter sowing.
Yeah.
Good night.
Well, thank you, everybody.
Thank you,
This was
guys.
great.
I'll catch you again at one of these things, but for sure, March 9th, back for the bees.